Download the free Gun Dealio app to your smartphone. Find out about the latest deals and news on guns and gear. Includes the latest Gun Talk podcast and Gun Talk videos. That's Gun Dealio on the App Store and Google Play.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
All right, we're back with you. We have a lot to talk about. I was looking at this interesting article. The NRA and its allies use jargon to bully gun control supporters. In other words, they don't want us to actually ask them to define terms, because when they do that, it kind of pins them down. I'll talk a little bit about that in a little while. I just saw a report that I guess America's PXs had pulled the standard capacity magazines for ARs, the 30-rounders, and then like 10 days later, they said, oh, that was a mistake. Because I guess they were getting a lot of feedback, a lot of pushback, so they're selling them again. I think it's probably going to happen in a lot of places. These companies that said, oh, we're going to take an action on this, and then later on they're going to go, ooh, that didn't really work out well, and they'll just kind of quietly come back. But the thing is, we have long memories. It's like I haven't stepped into a Dick's Sporting Goods since they pulled all the ARs after the Dewtown murders. Wasn't our fault. We didn't do it. We had nothing to do with it. And yet they took that action. So, hey, you don't want my business? Cool. I got a local gun store. And that's why for 23 years I've been telling you, shop at your local gun store. Because when the big box store down the street decides to stop selling guns, and they will eventually, someone will convince them that paint makes more money per square foot than guns. They'll just put it in paint or whatever it is. Your gun store, you're going to go back and say, well, I'll go to the gun store. Oh, they're not there anymore because you wouldn't shop there. Yeah. We're going to take a little break from the politics because, you know what, we are the good guys. We're the good gals. We're the ones who shoot guns, own guns responsibly. We like our guns. We like all the aspects of them. And one of the things we like to find out is, hey, what's this gun worth? How many times have you wondered, I wonder what this old gun is worth? It could be a new gun. But whenever we need to know that, there's a guy we go to, Steve Fiested from the Blue Book of Gun Values. It is the Bible on what's my gun worth. Steve, how are you?
Good afternoon, Tom, and welcome to all Gun Talk radio listeners. How are you today?
We're doing great. How long has Blue Book been out, been published?
Well, originally got going back in 1981, but I want you to know we just wrapped up the 39th edition, all 2,512 pages of it, about 4 hours before I took off for Germany at the EWA show, which I think you were at last week in Nuremberg, too, also, weren't you?
I was there, and I didn't see you. Of course, there were more than a couple of us there. Well, 2,512 pages, that is amazing. What a volume. And you know every word of everything that's in there, I take it.
No, I don't, Tom. I'm sorry. A lot of people think I commit all this stuff to memory, but I don't. But, you know, what's interesting about the book in terms of a page count, our printer has pretty much limited the capacity of the book now with the paperweight that we're using to 2,512. If we had to publish everything that's in the database and put it in the book, it would take about 3,400 pages now to get all the information in the gun book database printed. So what we do, and I think for a lot of the listeners out there already realize this, some of the sections now are only available online.
Ah, okay.
So, I mean, we've run out of space. I'm hoping that somebody gets a bindery that's got a little bit more capacity. But in the meantime, I'm going to have to settle with 2,512 pages.
All right. And the website is bluebookofgunvalues.com.
That's correct, yes.
That'll work. I'll tell you what, we got people lining up. They want to know what their guns were. Oh, I have to ask you, though. A guy I know just said, hey, I've got this old shotgun, right? You've heard this before. I've got this old shotgun that I got from my dad. And I took the butt plate off, and there was a receipt in there. And he posted this thing online. It's a picture of it. And the receipt is from Sears Roebuck. I think it was $32. And it was in the mid-30s. And I'm looking at it, and I said, is that a Winchester Model 42? He says, yeah. I'm going, okay, I think it's worth more than $32 now.
That's a great story, Tom, and I got another one kind of close to that. A gun dealer since passed away here from the metro area. He bought a gun through an ad about 25 years ago, the Winchester Model 12. That's all it said, Winchester Model 12. And he got to the gal's place, and it was a 20 gauge, and it was serial number 1.
You're kidding me.
Serial number 1. And, he paid her more than, he was anticipating. Asking. I never did get the final disclosure on that. But just like you said, he got the gun back to his shop. He took off the butt plate, and there were hunting licenses inside the drilled-out area from 1912, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And I can't remember if the receipt was enclosed or not.
Yeah, this guy had his dad's hunting license in there as well. So evidently that was a thing back then.
It kind of was, as a matter of fact.
Amazing. I'll tell you what, hold on. We got somebody right here who wants to talk about that. Let's go line 3. Scott is with us in Carson City, Nevada. Hey, Scott, you've got Steve Fiesta. He is the guy. What gun are you talking about here?
Hi, Tom. I've got a 1917 manufactured date. Model, it's a pattern 17 field, and it's a Remington. Now, it's been sporterized side of the receiver on where the ear, or where the pieces are to protect the sights. Other than that, it's all original.
What caliber is it in now?
It's 30-06. It has 30.
Okay. Okay, just checking.
Okay, and Scott, I assume you're wanting to know what this is. And Steve, I guess we ought to at least say, y'all, because I always put this out there, condition is everything.
Well, 2 things, Tom. Condition's everything, but originality is just as important as condition. And, a sporterized infield, there's literally thousands of those out there. I know over the years going to the gun shows, I've probably seen, 400 or 500 of them. And it all depends, on how well the gun has been sporterized. Some gunsmiths are a lot better than others. But my general consensus on a gun like that, without having it in my hands and see what kind of work has actually been done on it, I'm assuming average quality and.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, no, it's the only thing that's been done is they cut the stock off. Other than that, the metal is, as I said, the metal is original. There's nothing that's been done to it. The only thing that's there is there's 2 very minor scratches on it. Other than that, it's exactly as it came out when it was left the Remington factory.
Yes. Well, that's a lot different then. Although having the stock cut isn't, maybe an inch or inch and a half or something like that, probably shortened for like youth or something like that? No, they took it off
just to where it's very similar to what a modern bolt-action rifle would be.
Okay.
It was about 15 inches in front of the trigger guard.
Okay. Well, even with that alteration, and of course for a military collector, that's going to hurt it quite a bit. I still think the value would be $400 or $500, though.
Okay. It may not be what you're hoping to hear, Scott, but sometimes, and here's the other thing, and I'm going to throw this out because I know you kind of alluded to it, Steve, is that you wouldn't want anybody to hold you to this because you don't have the gun in your hand. And without having that, you really can't do a total assessment on it.
Yes, and military collectors, especially military long-arm collectors, and those guns have been going up in value over about the last 6 or 7 years, especially trench guns. World War II trench guns right now are just really hot. I thought they were kind of, at the top of the game 10 years ago. But now, I mean, it's really good trench guns are selling in 5 digits. And I remember when those guns were, $800-900. Now, yeah, and I thought they were overpriced then. So, getting back to your 30-06, I would think that the stock alteration is probably good for about a $300-400 deduction.
All right, sounds good. Hey, Steve, hold on a second here. When we come back, why don't you brief us a little bit on which guns are going up? Because everybody always wants to know, what are the hot guns? And we're talking with Steve Fiested from the Blue Book of Gun Values. Check it out, bluebookofgunvalues.com. I'm Tom Gresham. The number here, 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back. Used guns can be a great value, but you have to know who you're buying from. What if you could buy quality used guns with a lifetime warranty from the Internet's largest online reseller? That's what you get at DuriesGuns.com. They stand behind every firearm purchase for life. If you have a problem, they'll either fix or replace your gun. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, and more. Check out their inventory today at DuriesGuns.com.
This is Marty Hayes, president of the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. 10 years ago, I created the network to help armed citizens with the legal aftermath of self-defense. There is strength in numbers, and we now have over 15,000 members in the network and over $1 million in our legal defense fund for defensive members after an act of self-defense. To join, visit our website at armedcitizensnetwork.org. That's armedcitizensnetwork.org.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Legends aren't born legendary. They are proven legendary. Like the new FN 509 handgun, a direct result of over 1 million rounds of testing and a direct descendant of over 125 years of legendary FN firearms. The world's most battle-proven firearms. The FN 509, a legend in the making. Find out more at fnamerica.com.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at timneytriggers.com.
It's the question we always get, what's my gun worth? And I always say, look, I don't do gun values, but I got a guy. My guy is Steve Fiested. He is the author, the editor, the publisher of Blue Book of Gun Values, bluebookofgunvalues.com. He joins us right now. Steve, what guns are hot? Which ones? I remember a year or so ago you were talking about snake guns, pythons, and anacondas were really jumping up. What's hot now?
Actually, they've gone down a little bit, or at least settled down. I think they're past the peak right now. Mint guns still in the box that are numbered to the box are still doing very well. But, one of the current trends that I've certainly seen, and I'm sure you picked up on this too at the SHOT Show this year, Tom, was in terms of rifles, the 6.5 Creedmoor has really gotten to be a dominant caliber over the last 16, 18 months. The 6mm Creedmoor is riding right alongside of that. And, of course, the 450 Bushmaster is also doing very well, too. I talked to a major distributor just a couple of days before I left for EWA, and he said that between the 450 Bushmaster and the 6.5mm Creedmoor, that was about 65% of their rifle business right now in terms of caliber.
Wow. That's amazing.
65. 2 out of 3. And I don't think that trend's going to cool off anytime in the near future. Sturm Ruger's PC carbine is still really back-ordered right now. In terms of handguns, pistols, I guess, and rifles, here's a trend that we've also seen, threaded barrels. Unfortunately, I don't think the legislation is going to change that much. for the legality of those items. But certainly we've seen more and more models all the time being offered. And it's a slight upcharge, but I think that'll continue. Overall, prices did not go up so far in 2018 for most American manufacturers. Okay. Smith & Wesson had 500 SKUs this year. Not one gun went up.
Interesting. Well, all right, we got some more folks that have some guns to ask you about. We got Morgan on line 2. He's out of Houston, Texas. Hey, Morgan, what gun you got there?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I have a 1943 Underwood M1 Carbine. Cool thing with it, actually, is I still got the little original manual that goes with it, the old Army manual. Mm-hmm. Pages barely stay together, but I can still flip through it. So I was wondering what that might be worth.
Is it all original?
To the best of my ability, I believe so. From what I've seen from other ones online, they all pretty much look the same color in the wood. I guess you should say the metal all looks the same to me, but I'm guessing the stock is going to be that nice light brown oaky color.
I have a question for you, Morgan, on that gun. Do you know if that's like a rework that's been factory reworked to one of the U.S. arsenals, or does it have the original flip-up rear sight and no bayonet lug?
No, I have the flip-up sight, and it does have the attachment or the clips where you could put a bayonet on it.
Okay, that's interesting, because that's probably a Type 1 gun. Those guns have done pretty well. I show them in the database right now. If you have a really, really fine gun, you're over $2,000. I think your average gun in 80% is probably $875 to $1,000, and that's assuming originality. And, of course, working condition.
Oh, yeah, I use it. I mean, I'd never sell it. My father left it to me, and I've had it for almost 20 years. So I've heard different stories about what it could be worth, and I was just blitzing you on the radio, and he said you got someone that knows his stuff, so I gave you all a call.
It's kind of interesting. Actually, that carbine has gotten so popular, the M1 Carbine, U.S. military M1 Carbine, that there are now reproductions coming from both the United States and from Italy. Chiappa in Italy is making an M1 Carbine for about $350 now, so for people who can't afford the original ones, they can still afford one of the reproductions.
All right. Hey, Morgan, thank you for that call. Let's talk to Jerry out of Spokane, Washington on line 1. Jerry, you got something interesting here. Hey, Jerry, you there? All right, let's go to Frank at Talkeetna on line 3. We were talking about pythons. Frank, you got a python?
I do. I have a 1977 Python with the original stock. It's a 4-inch, and it shows minimum holster wear. No box.
What's the barrel length on it? I'm sorry, I may have missed that. 4-inch barrel. Yeah. How long you had that, and how'd you get it?
I got it in a trade years ago.
What'd you have to trade for? Do you remember?
I do, and I'm not saying.
Now, that's a gun trader, Steve.
Yeah, I understand that, exactly. Well, the question that I have, you didn't specify, is it blue or nickel finish?
Blue.
Blue finish, 4-inch, combat python, 70s production. I'm assuming, nice condition, 95%, 98% condition?
Yep, a little bit of the blue is worn off the front tip of the barrel. Just a little.
That gun, if you had the original box for that, it was brand new, and the box was numbered by serial number to the gun, I'd tell you it was a $2,650 set, okay? But, pythons aren't rare, and I think, Tom, that's something that a lot of collectors and some investors have maybe forgotten about a bit. They've made over 100,000 of those guns, and most of them were in 4- and 6-inch blue. Right. Short barrel, nickel finish guns are quite a bit rare. I think your gun is probably in the $1,350 to $1,750 range.
Why, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's not bad. That's great. All right, Frank, I appreciate that call. Let's see. I think we have John on line 2 out of Oklahoma. Hey, John, you there? I'm sorry, line 1. I think I called that wrong. Line 1. Hey, John.
Yes, sir. Hello, Tom.
Hey. Yes, sir.
Mr. Fiesta. I have a Winchester Model 90 in 22 short. And I'd say has maybe a good 70% of the finish left on it. It does have some scars and dings on the receiver, though. I was wondering what that might be worth.
Hey, John, while Steve's looking that one up, I'm going to profess my ignorance. What is a Winchester Model 90?
1890, Tom. Slate Action 22.
Oh, okay, 1890. Gotcha.
Yes,
okay.
yes. And he's got one in 22 short.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're from Oklahoma, so are you going to be going to the Tulsa show in a couple of weeks?
Absolutely.
Well, stop by. You can pick up a new book from me at the show. We're at the front entry downstairs. What do you think your gun's worth?
I don't know. I'd hope it'd be worth around $700.
Yeah. I think that's a real good starting point. You know, if the gun was really nice, a 22 short, $1,250, $1,300. But the way it is right now, I'd say $650 to $850 is a good ballpark price range. You know, that first variation with case colors, those are the 1890s that people really pay a lot of money for. And a friend of mine, believe it or not, just sold one for $13,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. And by the way, Tom, that gun retailed for $15. Okay? That gun retailed for $15.
That is an ROI to some. I tell you what, thank you for that call, sir. Steve, I tell you what, if you can hang with us for a little bit more, I'm going to pull you through the break here, and we'll keep doing this, if that's okay with you.
Oh, certainly. I love it. Thanks.
Okay, sounds good. We're talking with Steve Fiested from the Blue Book of Gun Values. If you've got a gun you want to know about, and the thing is, you don't have to be selling it. I understand. Morris, don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you. He's in New Mexico. He's got a gun that's particularly interesting to me. I may even tell you about one that I have. We'll look at that. We got Edward on the line. We're going to get to him, but we do have room for you if you'd like to join us right now. Just call us at 866-TALK-GUN or just dial Tom Talk Gun. What's my gun worth? Now, it's condition, it's rarity, it's originality, it's a lot of other things. And the thing is, you don't have to be selling it to be interested in what it's worth. Sometimes it's just kind of fun to know. Be right back.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, we're back with you in just a little bit. I want to tell you a story I just caught. It is one of the most... because I always like to get my advice about firearms ownership from Hollywood celebrities. One of the most outrageous, idiotic, disheartening, sad, laughable stories ever. It's just, you won't even believe it when we get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. Right now, we're talking about what's your gun worth. We're talking with Steve Fiested from the Blue Book of Gun Values. Check it out, bluebookofgunvalues.com. Give us a call, 866-TALK-GUN. If you have a gun that you want to know what it's worth, Steve is your guy. Steve... how long does it take you all year to put together the Blue Book?
Good question, Tom. In the old days, when I said the old days, 15 years ago, before it was an online subscription, we kind of slapped each other's backs when the end of May came around and said, well, we got through another edition, and we kind of took a few months off over the summer and then got back at it in the fall again. Well, now, like we say on our website, good information never sleeps.
And neither do you.
Yeah, exactly. So what we do now, our online subscription is updated monthly. So if literally a manufacturer comes out with a new caliber on the 20th of a month, it can be in our database 10 days later.
Wow. Okay. So you're updating. So if people are checking it, you've got at least every month it's updated, and sometimes more often than that.
It's monthly now, and of course the book is once a year. That always comes out the first week in April, and of course it's going to make its debut again at the upcoming Tulsa show in a couple of weeks.
By the way, if anybody is in the area, if you've never been to the Tulsa Gun Show, it is not like a gun show you've ever been to. Your local gun show, just forget about it. It's not like this. You need to go and plan to spend some time. And if you want to save yourself, don't take any money with you. Because you'll find something there, right?
Always.
And the deals are amazing. I mean, the people will walk up. This is a place where you won't even know what just happened behind you, because there'll be a guy wearing bib overalls who just pulled out $40,000 in cash and did a deal with somebody, and nobody knew what happened. I mean, that happens all the time there.
It's hard to explain, Tom, but I would like to know the combined amount of cash in the show about noon on Saturday, okay? It's got to be staggering.
Man, no kidding. All right, we got more people that want to know more about their guns. Morris is on line 2, and this one is interesting, out of New Mexico. Morris, what do you have there?
Yeah, well, I've got a 1889 Parker Brothers double barrel side by side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been shortened. And,
what gauge?
But it's a 10 gauge. It's 10 gauge, got the exposed hammers, and it's all original. It has the 4-stock on it. Everything. It's rough. I think it needs to be tightened up or something. I'm scared to fire it. But
okay. Steve, what do you
Morris,
think?
I have a question for you on that particular Parker. Does that have an under lever action, or is the lever on top?
The under lever.
It's an under lever.
Oh, wait, no. It's over the top.
Okay, yeah. That's a more modern.
Break it over.
Okay, and it's Damascus barrels, I presume, correct? It's a 10 gauge, and
yes.
I don't know if you've ever hit the gun apart, but chances are it's on a number, I'm going to say 2 or 3, maybe even a number 4 frame. The barrel's being cut off, that's going to hurt it, okay? Originality on a gun like that is really important, and most of the Parkers that you see from that time period are pretty well worn out. It's really, really almost impossible to find a gun like what you own in over 90% original condition, and if you did find one, it would sell for a lot of money. But is there any engraving on your gun, or is it pretty plain Jane?
It's plain. It's plain.
Okay.
Well, in fact, the serial number was filed off. Well, we're up here in northern New Mexico where we had the Daltons, Dalton gang up there in Durango.
Yeah.
And roamed this area. So we found it in the attic of an old house, 1898. It was built, so.
Wow, found a gun in the attic.
Now, there's a shotgun that I wish could publish its own story, Tom. That would be very interesting.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
The thing is, the serial number, of course, is on the lower tang, and they were always hand-engraved on a Parker. And chances are, on that gun with that age, it would have probably been, in the 90,000, 100,000 range, maybe a little lower than that. If you took the barrels off the gun, there would be numbers on that, too. But it's not going to make any difference on the value. As a matter of fact, collectors, once they hear there's no serial number, they're probably going to keep their wallets in their pants. But I'm thinking that if the barrel's been cut and it's a reasonable professional job, chances are the original barrels on that gun would have been 30, 32, or 34-inch. I'm thinking the gun is probably in the, $350 to $500 range now.
And Morris, I got to say, I think you're smart in not shooting that gun. If it's loose and it's got Damascus barrels, I'd make it a really nice wall hanger and something you can tell stories about.
Yeah. Okay. If you did have the serial number.
Make up your own stories, man.
Yeah, really. Well, what would it be worth if you did have
I
the
think
serial number?
It should be brought out that some older guns with Damascus barrels, if the actions are tight, are certainly shootable.
True.
But, a gunsmith is going to have to make that determination. In your particular case, Morris, Tom is right. I think I'd hang that one on the fireplace and tell some stories about what you suspect might have happened to the serial number and go from there.
Hey, Steve Morris was asking, what would that be worth if it had the serial number, if it was like just in better, it wasn't cut off maybe?
If that gun was in really nice condition and is still a plain Jane, the gun would bring $5,000.
Ouch. Okay. Hey, Morris, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. It sounds like an interesting gun, and I would go with the Dalton gang story. Nobody can prove you differently, so you might as well go with that. Hey, Steve, hold on a second here. We're going to take a quick break. We're coming back. We're talking with Steve Fiested from the Blue Book of Gun Values. We can do a little assessment on your gun. Give us a holler, 866-TALK-GUN.
Built for personal and home protection, the Smith & Wesson M&P 380 Shield EZ pistol features an easy-to-load magazine with load assist button, an easy-to-rack slide, and the M2.0 crisp trigger and enhanced grip texture. With its easy-to-rack, easy-to-pack, and easy-to-shoot design, the M&P 380 Shield EZ is perfectly sized 380 protection. Find out more at smith-wesson.com.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Brownells has gone retro. Check out Brownells' new line of retro AR-15 and AR-style 308 rifles at Brownells.com/retro. Whether you're looking for Eugene Stoner's original 308 design, the famous M16A1, Air Force 601, or the XM177 carbine, Brownells has the classic, new production, old-school rifle of your dreams. Own the firearm you used in basic training, carried in service, or that Grandpa always talks about. See more at Brownells.com/retro.
What is your gun worth? I don't know. I'd always tell you, I don't know. Steve Fiested does, because he puts out the Blue Book of Gun Values. It is the Bible for what's my gun worth. And it's a lot of things involved. Steve, when somebody looks up their gun, you actually help them. You say, okay, what's the condition? And you got different ways of telling what the condition is in a gun, right?
Very important, Tom. As a matter of fact, we have the photo percentage grading system available online. And by the way, our website was just recently overhauled. It looks really nice now. Anybody out there who's listening, if they have any questions about what type of condition a rifle, carbine, shotgun, pistol, revolver, doesn't make any difference, just get on our website, go to PPGS, and we have percentages of original condition listed anywhere from 100% or new condition all the way to worn out or 0%.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's go to line 3. Edward's with us out of Kansas. He's got, I like this one. Hey, Edward, what do you have and how'd you get this gun?
Well, I've had it for a long time. It's the Colt H-Bar, the heavy barrel 223.
Right.
And it's very, very good, inside and out both. And I'm just real curious what the value on that thing is.
Well, I am too, because I have that exact same gun. I bought it before the '94 ban, and I think it's probably still sitting in a box somewhere. So I'm going to be quiet and let Steve take this one.
Tom, you brought up a good point already. Edward, I have a question for you. Tom brought it up already. Do you have the original box for it? And if so, do you know what color is the original box? Is it like a green?
I would love to tell you I have the box, but I don't.
Okay. So you think, it's an H-bar Colt, and probably from circa mid-70s, something like that. Does that sound about right?
Well, it's pre-ban. I'm not positive what year it is. I've just had it forever.
Okay. Well, that's one of your more collectible AR-15s, and I could talk for 4 or 5 minutes on AR-15s right now, but I'm sure the lines are kind of backing up down there, Tom. But answer your question on value, good gun. A Colt is still the most collectible of the trademarks for AR-15s. I think your gun is in the $1,850 to $2,300 range.
Whoa, nice.
Good.
That's great.
I think you made Tom and I both happy.
Well, one of the things I was going to point out, you guys, if you want to hear the flip side of the coin, I'll tell you.
Okay.
And that changed maybe a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately, after the most recent shooting down in Florida. But, after the election, by Christmas of 2016, I think that about 7 million AR-15 rifles lost $3 billion in value.
Holy cow. I'm not surprised at all, because we got a zillion of them sitting on dealer shelves.
And they all went from $750, $850, $9 1/4 down to $450, $395. And unfortunately, those guns lost a lot of money. But when you have top of the line AR-15s, and of course Colt would definitely qualify, Daniel Defense, LaRue Tactical, JP Enterprises, don't forget about Knight's Armament.
All right,
those are premium manufacturers, and they'll always bring a lot of money.
All right, let me jump in. I'm going to try to get one more in here before we hit our break here. Eric's on line 1 out of Kansas. You got a Savage 99 there, Eric?
Yes, I've got a Savage 99 in .38-55 caliber. By Serial, it's a 1907 manufacture. It is a takedown, and it's in excellent condition, and it's fully functional.
Nice gun. How? What's the condition like?
I took it to a good bluer, and I asked, has this been reblued? And he says, man, the bluing looks great. I would say it hasn't. The wood is in excellent condition. Functions great. I don't want to shoot it anymore because it's so nice.
But it has been reblued.
No, the guy said he didn't think it had been. I took it to up around north of town here. There's a guy that's really good at it. I didn't want it. The bluing's in such good shape.
Oh, great!
We were wondering about it. But.
All right, Steve, what do you think?
Well, it's a nice gun. First of all, it's all original, like you described. Secondly, it's a takedown model. That's good. It's not a 253,000, but it is a 38-55 caliber. That's good news too. And the Savage 99 was really a great firearm during its day, and for those people who still use them, it's as good as it ever was. I think your gun is probably in the $1,250 to $1,500 range.
Good. I paid $550 for it, so that's a good deal.
That's
there's no downside risk for you on that one, Eric.
Very, very well done. That's and that's the thing, Steve. Sometimes, a lot of people say, I'm not going to sell it, but I'm just curious. I want to know what it's worth. And that's kind of what we're doing here, really.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. Tell you what, we'll take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll have time for 1 or 2 calls. We'll move quickly. Bruce, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. We got room for maybe one more. Call me right now, 866-TALK-GUN. We're talking with Steve Fiested about the Blue Book of Gun Values, about your gun value. And it's an interesting thing that we do want to know what they're worth. And sometimes guns go up, but the other thing is a lot of times they go down. I'm not a collector. I don't, keep them in prime condition to keep the boxes. I have guns to shoot, and then people say, "Oh, do you have the box?" No, I threw the box away. That's when Steve says, "You dummy! If you had the box." 866-TALK-GUN. We'll be right back. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk. going to try to move through these quickly. We've got Steve Fiested from the Blue Book of Gun Values with us. We're going to get to, let's see, Bruce is first out of Utah, line 2. Bruce, what you got?
Well, back in the mid-'60s, my father bought 2 AR-7s, Armalite AR-7s, and gave me one. I used to strap it to the back of my Yamaha 80 and go shoot it in the desert. The other one was left on a shelf, and it's still brand new in the box.
Oh, Steve, what do you think?
What year do you think they were manufactured?
64, 65.
65, and you have which model again?
He's got the AR-7, and he has it new in a box.
AR-7, new in the box.
The brown stock one, it had the aluminum barrel with the
of course,
steel insert and a 10-round magazine.
But the brown stock is the more desirable of the two. There was a multicolor, a black, and there was a brown stock. But I think an AR-15 Explorer right now, new in a box, a brown stock in the box is going to be worth $650.
$650, and then what about the one that I shot pretty extensively? I still have the box for that also, and they also both have the manuals.
Well, excellent. That's a good point what you brought up about the box. The gun is probably worth $295, $3 1/4. But, you throw that original box on top of it, I think someone's going to pay another $125 for the box and the instruction manual. So unlike what Tom does, throw his boxes away, you did the right thing.
I knew I was going to take it for that one.
Thank you ever so much.
All right, thank you for the call, sir. Let's see. Steve's in Oklahoma on line 3. Steve, what you got?
Hey, guys, I've got an old, I inherited it from my grandfather. It's an 03 Winchester 22. It shoots that weird 22 Winchester caliber round. And
yes.
I don't have any proof of it, but my grandpa told me that Clyde Barrow gave it to him when he was a kid.
Wow.
On one of his runs through Oklahoma.
Okay.
How long have you owned the gun?
I'm sorry?
How long have you owned the gun?
I've had it since about 89.
I see, okay. By the way, that's in the 22 Winchester Auto rimfire caliber.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And I think an average gun on a 1903 is probably going to come in at about $550 to $750. A really, really nice one will bring $1,600, $1,700.
Okay, well, I tried rebluing it about 20 years ago, and it didn't take real good. Now, there's no pits in it. I would call it about 65%.
Well, that's going to alter the price a little bit.
It runs flawlessly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's anytime you start messing with them and they're not original, I know it reduces the value a little bit. Look, I appreciate the call. I've got to chat with Steve here for a second. Steve, before we let you go, the Blue Book of Gun Values, how do people get a hold of one?
Real simple. Just go online, bluebookofgunvalues.com. Also call in the 800 number, 800-877-4867, extension 3. And by the way, timing is really, really good, Tom, because the new edition is the 39th edition is going to be out in about, we'll be able to ship that in about 2 weeks. So anybody orders right now is going to get their book actually delivered before anybody else.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Timing is good.
BlueBookOfGunValues.com. Get your order in now. Steve, it's always a pleasure having you here.
Thanks, Tom. Same here.
All righty. You take care. Have fun in Tulsa. I know you will. That's a fun deal. All righty. Yeah, we, oh my gosh, Charlize Theron. Her mother saved her life with a gun, shot her father who was attacking her, killed him. And so somehow, because her mother saved her life with a gun, she says, my father died in gun violence. And so it's ridiculous, it's outrageous that we would say that teachers should have guns. Where are these people getting these ideas? No brains in Hollywood. 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.